following Jerusalem Day and ongoing conflict in the north and in Gaza. Here to speak with us about recent events and the path forward is Israeli MK Simcha Rothman.
Shalom, shalom. Thank you for having me.
To start, I'd really like to get your take on the events at the Flag March, specifically some of the violence that we saw from Jewish extremists and even some of the anti-Arab racist chants that were shouted there. Do you condemn these racist remarks, and what is being done to reject radicalism in Israel?
I think that talking about this, even giving it, of course, giving it the first impression on the Flag March is misguided, to say the least. Tens of thousands of people of all ages were walking through the street of Jerusalem, celebrating the Jerusalem Day. Someone decides to put a focus on a small group of people saying some things. That's the issue. That's the thing to talk about. That's the important thing. I'm not even saying that. I'm not even talking about taking the Flag March and flagging it as an extremist event or some claim like that. I'm just saying, really, that's the extremism that we need to fight in the Middle East. That's the problems. That's what's important for the media. I think that's a really misguided way to look at things, especially when we know what is the extremism we face. I think it's extremely insensitive even to talk about it when people, due to extremism, lost their lives, were raped, were murdered, and to talk about it, to use even the same term, it reminds me the ICC that says, oh, we need to investigate. Let's investigate Netanyahu and let's investigate Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. It's extremism.
Certainly.
For me, it's been a terrible. I'm sorry. I know you're asking this question because that's the way some media try to outline those issues. But for me, it's a terrible question to ask and to answer.
I actually think you brought up a very valid point. The vast majority who took part in these celebrations in the Jerusalem Day Parade are, in fact, proud Zionists who are not in any way racist, which is why I wanted to give you an opportunity just to condemn some of those racist comments. But I do appreciate you pointing out false moral equivalencies. I would love to get your response to the government's rejection of Ben Gvir's statements that there is no change in the status quo on the Temple Mount. Do you agree with Minister Ben Gvir or the Prime Minister on this issue?
So the reality on the ground in the Temple Mount, I think is a problem, and the status quo there is constantly changing to, I would say, I'm not saying to the worst, but we over the years it became regular that the Jews are not allowed, and by the way, it's against the law in Israel, and it's against the international commitments of the entire world. Jews are not allowed to pray on the Temple Mount. Jews are being limited on the way they walk on the Temple Mount, despite the fact that Jews do not pose any danger when they go on the Temple Mount. And we know from history that weapons and explosives and stones were brought in by Arabs. Arabs don't go through security checks, but Israelis and Jews are. So the situation on the Temple Mount is very strange. And it's very counterintuitive. I'm not talking now about policy and when and what is the best way to change the reality, but I think we all should agree that every religious and non-religious person who wants to pray, to daven, in a holy site should be allowed to do it. And the fact that today in Israel, because of threats of violence, there are limits on the ability to go on the Temple Mount and pray, it's a shame. I think we all need to work towards the day that those limits will be removed.
Now, much has been said about the hostage deal, multiple different proposals, and this is something that you yourself have opposed. Why do you oppose a deal that could potentially see the release of some of the hostages and a pause in war that really could be continued later?
So a deal and even negotiating a deal creates a grave danger to the hostages. When you basically wait, we all know that Hamas will not sign a suicide pact. By the way, Hamas leaders said it by themselves. So the efforts to go towards a deal are futile. Hamas opening point is far away from the most far away part that Israel is supposed to go to. We should not stop the war. We cannot accept the situation of a terrorist organization committed to killing and raping and destroying our cities and our country exists. We cannot accept it. And Hamas will never negotiate its own existence. And everyone with clear mind sees it. And Hamas say it very loudly. And everyone understands it. So when you negotiate on a deal with them, you're just giving them the legitimacy. You're giving them time, more time that we are.
But just to play devil's advocate, I mean, would that not be saving some of the lives of hostages?
No, I think it's endangered the lives of the hostages, because what you have is a terrorist organization holding the hostages and knows that holding to hostages, it's the only thing that stands behind total annihilation of Hamas and the reality. And they will use the negotiation and any deal to make the lives of the hostages that they are holding even more endangered. So the only way to release the hostages is by getting as soon as possible to the point in time where Hamas is destroyed or nearing a destroy, and the leaders are signing not a deal, but saying, let us run for our lives, leave Gaza and give you the hostages, and you will grant us safe passage to Qatar, to the country apparently loves holding Hamas people and giving them a very dignified place to be. That's the only way we will be able to bring back hostages. Negotiating and postponing the military efforts are endangering hostages and, of course, endangering the citizens of Israel.
All right, Israeli MK Simcha Rothman, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.